Okay, we just let people arrive. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I think you're slowly dripping in. So we have a very special guest today with David Lusch from the Tao Academy. Okay, I'm gonna just turn the music off. And we are continuing this week with the greatest enlightenment, the Da Fu Wu, and David Lusch. It's the leading teacher from the Tao Academy. He's an author. He's written 2 books, and also the director of the Tao Academy. So I welcome you all, particularly if you're watching the replay. I think today people are having a little bit of a slip in. That's okay. We're gonna proceed with the show, and you can watch the replay in your own time. So last week we had Geshe Tashi, the abbot of the Saramay Monastery from India, with us. And forgive me again due to tech issues. The interview had to be shortened, but we will reschedule for another meeting. Meanwhile, today, David, before I move on to David, I just want to recap what Geshe Tashi talked about from the Buddhist point of view of the greatest enlightenment from his own experience. So basically, full enlightenment in the Buddhist tradition, it's when one has developed the greatest compassion and the greatest wisdom. So the journey itself towards enlightenment, it's more interesting than the goal, the destination. And Buddha Shakyamuni focuses on the 4 Noble Truths. The fourth noble truth, concentrating on the Eightfold Path, which involves ethical conduct with the right speech, right action, right livelihood. And the second one is the meditation, concentration with the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And the third one being the wisdom, with the right understanding and right thinking. So these are the Eightfold Paths which we in the Buddhist tradition practice to lead us towards enlightenment. And this model helps the steps. So similarly, with Master Sha's teachings, we've been using the Tao Classic of Immortality and Longevity, which contains the 10 sacred qualities. So each month, what we've been doing is to introduce one of the greatest qualities, the greatest love, compassion, forgiveness, light, harmony, humility, flourishing, gratitude, service, all the way to the greatest enlightenment. And today, we are very blessed to have David Lusch to share with us the teachings from the Tao, Master Sha, talking about the greatest enlightenment. So, David is here in London with us from the Master Sha Tao Center in London. So, David, from your perspective, what is enlightenment?
Thank you, Weilan, for having me on your show. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be with everyone around the world. So enlightenment has obviously layers. And there is obviously the teaching in Buddhism, standing on the ground, become a Buddha, become totally enlightened. Yet for most people, it just doesn't happen in 1 second. We haven't had that Buddha or that highest saint, that enlightenment realization where everything just transforms in that instant. Most people take many, many, many lifetimes and can take millions, billions of lifetimes, depending upon the soul and the soul journey, to reach those highest levels of enlightenment. Yet there are stages of enlightenment on the way to total enlightenment. So enlightenment is really about, depending on how you want to talk about it, of course, it has to do with your virtue, your da, how much good service in your record of services your soul has created to uplift your soul. And when you go into Master Sha's and Dr. Rin's Tao Science teaching, that equates to your quantum entanglement with the universe. So your consciousness is evolving, your qualities of offering, unconditional, the greatest love, forgiveness, compassion, peace, harmony, all of these qualities are growing and growing within you on this journey where you awaken and you release this human attachment, the human attachments to all aspects of life, the distinctions, the judgments that keep us separate and segregated in our consciousness, and as well as seeing through the illusions of this temporary existence. And obviously enlightenment is one of those words that you also cannot even fully define. It's like in the Tao teaching, Lao Tzu said, Dao ke Dao Fei Chang Dao, the Dao that can be explained or comprehended by words is not the true or eternal Dao. So to express what it means to be totally enlightened, it's already limited just by putting human words to it. So enlightenment is that transcendence of that human existence into, if you want to call it, a highest saint existence, a Buddha existence, divine existence, Tao existence, where you've melded your vibrational field with the source on some layer. Because there's infinite layers, and we know that. It's like math. Infinity to the infinity to the infinity. It's still infinity, but there's so many infinities to the infinity.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very deep. So then how does people begin this journey? I mean, if there's so many layers, how would one begin? Because it's so overwhelming just by listening. And I feel, wow, it sounds really great, but doing the work, like how would one begin, and also to stay on the path, to continue on the path?
Yeah, you're asking me deep questions, Weilan. So it can sound overwhelming when you think about it and the longevity of it all, right? And human beings can have a nature, and their nature could depend how do they feel what is overwhelming. So if you think about when the concept of the human beings, they wanted to land on the moon, right? At that point, that was just so wild thinking. And some people doubt, some people believe. Or if you even think about running a marathon, right? Okay, 26 plus miles, I think I can do it. But one of the things is to focus on that next step in front of you. Focus on you're mindful of where you're going, obviously, but you're focused on that present moment, being present and where you are. Because if you think too much into the future or to the past, all kinds of fears and worries and anxieties come up. So to get started, start meditating for yourself, meditate to heal different issues in your life, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and chant mantras, of course, pray, whatever works in one's own belief system. And then live with purpose. Every soul that incarnates has a purpose for their life. And so finding that purpose, and it will have to do with serving others in some way. If you think of a school teacher serves a lot of, little ones, little humans, teenagers, even adult humans. But the impact they can have on that person's life can be very profound. So it's a service, even if the teacher is paid. The teacher, obviously, a lot of teachers, they go in because they have a passion for it. So find your purpose, find your passion, do your service for others. And at the same time, I would start, if you're brand new, start with meditating, start with doing self-healing and more. And there's many great methods and teachers out there. Obviously, I come from Dr. and Master Jigong Sha and his teachings. And one of the things people need is they need a forgiveness practice. This is greatest forgiveness. And you can incorporate it in your meditation. But to keep it simple, forgiveness is to let it go. And there's actually over 600 scientific research studies that show the power and the efficacy of doing forgiveness and how it reduces, for many people, heart issues. It's very good for the cardiovascular system, of course, the mind, the brain, the psychological, the emotional, the mental body. There's so many scientific studies, and people need tools and methods to just navigate life and let it go. So that's what I would say for getting started. Keep it simple. And when you do get started, don't worry about being totally correct with everything, because we can get very caught up. Did I hold my hand position right? Did I say this right? And then you're lost already. You're too much in your head. It's really about opening that heart and going into the heart and soul.
Yeah, that's some great advice there, David. Very encouraging. So I was wondering though, to actually people that it's important, they need some kind of a higher purpose or a life purpose, because due to so much distractions and leading busy lives, how would one get to stop for a moment and go into this deeper issue of that is the real need, instead of constantly running out to chase after the next distraction or entertainment, but to actually look inwards? So how can we invite that kind of energy into people?
Okay, you broke up a little bit on my line. I think you're saying that I heard most of it, but the first part, what was the first sentence? I didn't hear that one.
Yes, I said that people are very easily distracted, very busy, and how would we begin to for people to begin to notice that it is important to have a higher purpose, a deeper purpose than just working 9 to 5 and go on their lives? So
Beautiful question. Yeah. Well, I think there's many people, first of all, they have this inclination. They just kind of have a knowing that they came here to do something. And sometimes they're very clear and they know it. There are people like that. And then there's people that they're partially clear and partially not. And then there's people they're just unclear on what they came here to do. So one of the things that we have to do is we have to, as Wayland said, we have to slow down all the distractions, the messages, the phones, for some people, the TV or the internet, the gaming sites, whatever people do, that's overstimulating the senses. Because if you live in the city, it is overstimulated. It's very young in many ways. And it's busy, busy, busy. Yet to live in the city, if you can really do that and meditate, is even more benefits being like out in the quiet country, because it's harder to do it here. So you can actually achieve a greater accomplishment in your practice. And so if you're brand new, what you got to do is you got to like find a space you can go, an environment you go where you feel pretty good. And it's going to look different for different people. For some people, they want to go to the monastery or the temple or the synagogue or the church. For other people, they're going to want to go to the park. They're going to want to be by the pond and nature. And for others, it's going to be in their bedroom. They're going to shut the door, or their living room. And so I think it's for each person, when they're getting started, they got to do something that they enjoy and resonate. It's difficult to be calm if you're in a physical environment when you're getting started that you don't resonate with, because it increases the distractions. So you want to go to the place that feels good when you're brand new. Of course, advanced practitioners can just meditate anywhere because they've already gone through that process to get there. And when you're new, you know, what you want to do, and you can do it simple. And of course, there's different courses and classes on meditation. But what you want to do is focus, bring all the excess energy that's up in the overthinking and the head and the heart. You want to bring it down to your lower abdomen where you have some energy centers. So just easily put one palm below your navel, the other palm on top of it. And everyone, we can do that now for a short 2 minutes. Just put one palm below your navel, the other on top of it. You keep it simple. You sit up straight, close your eyes. And breath is an important part of meditation, yet a very simple one is just breathe in and out at your natural capacity to whatever your lungs can expand to, and then you contract. And you just breathe in and out and focus in your lower abdomen. And you say, how do I do that? My mind's all over the place. You just say, dear my soul, heart, mind, and body, I love you. You have the power to meditate, to calm down. Bring your awareness, your intention, your focus down to my lower abdomen area. And then just see a golden ball spinning. See golden light, and you visualize this. And if some people struggle to visualize, it's okay. You're still working. And see the light pouring in. And in fact, meditation should be focus, unfocus, focus, unfocus. There's a yin-yang component to that brings actually balance and harmony. If you don't focus or you over focus, that can create issues as well. And then you just connect. And if you want to discover your life purpose, ask. You can say, dear the Tao source, or whatever you believe in, God, Allah, you know, Adonai, Yahweh. You know, there's so many different names, creator, universe. I love you. Will you please bless me to know my life purpose? Bless me to have that realization and then be able to live and follow it. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And just feel. And then you say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And because this is a show, we'll cut the practice short, but you can stay there for 5, 10, 20 minutes. And you can introduce chanting, and chanting can be simple. If you're brand new, you can just chant God or Tao or Source or universe or universal light, forgiveness, love, and just repeat it, because the busy mind, you'll be like, oh, I'm thinking of my microwave, I'm thinking of my emails, I'm thinking of my computer. And so when you chant a mantra, that one message, repetitive message, brings you into a state where the mind calms down, and you can really get connected inside. And so for beginners, that's what they should do. And for beginners, there was a study by Harvard, the hospital in Massachusetts, that showed people who never meditated, in as little as 6 weeks, little less than 30 minutes a day, their brain started to change, where the gray matter reduced in areas of like anxiety and worry, and it increased in like areas of compassion and creativity. So like in a very short time, 30 minutes a day, you can have some very profound physiological effects that of course will influence the mind and the emotions over time.
Yeah. That was a beautiful practice, David. Even for me, for such a short time, I noticed straight away how everything just settled back into the body, like the energies of the mind started to drop. And then I noticed I wasn't really sitting, I wasn't fully on my cushion, on my chair. So with the practice, then I started to feel, oh, my buttock's coming back and my body, it's easing back. So I feel more grounded and more present. And this is just to show you, you can do this anywhere, even especially when you're in the office, when your head is buzzing and you're so focused in front of the screen, and half the time your body is probably not with you. Your
This
is just like ready to get up and to move off. So just that moment of bring everything back and close our eyes for just, a long moment really help us to realign our mind. Yeah. So what I wanted to ask you, David, was that in this book with the Master Sha, I was wondering because this book contains practices with the 10 sacred qualities, and why is the greatest enlightenment the on the body? It's located on the throat, in the throat, as the fifth chakra or soul house.
So that's where the greatest services, Dafu, Da Yuan Man, greatest enlightenments in the seventh soul house.
Oh, Fu, sorry, I'm looking at the greatest. We're on the
Yeah.
greatest enlightenment. Okay, so the seventh soul house is on the crown. Yeah.
So obviously the crown chakra represents obviously the ascension of the soul on its soul journey. And there's really deep teachings about this, which, would be in a better and a different forum and setting. But think of it like the soul will rise up as it grows in frequency, vibration, service, the qualities, the rest of, the love, the forgiveness, the compassion, it rises up in the body until it's above the head. Yet easy to say, not so easy to achieve, because this where the soul sits in one of these soul houses or energy chakras represents its evolution over many, many lifetimes. And even if your soul is highly evolved from the past, you're back here now. You got to do it again. It's not like you're still on your journey. And so this crown chakra obviously connects. The starting point is the byway acupuncture point, which is the heaven point or Tian point in Chinese. And this is the yang point, the Bai Wei is the major yang point in the body. So it's gathering the frequencies of yang. Of course, just like the Wei Yin acupuncture point in the perineum area, the Mother Earth point, gather yin. Either one can bring great healing for the body. Yet heaven is yang and earth is yin. And so it's representing your ascension in heaven. Some people say, I don't believe in heaven. I believe whatever I believe, soul world, the spiritual realms, higher dimensions. And so this crown chakra connects with the messages or the vibrational field of heaven. It connects with enlightenment, the ascension of the soul, the realization of the soul, the higher consciousness of the soul, the abilities of the soul, and much, much more. And, but there's very few humans who have souls that sit above their head. If you're sitting at home thinking, oh, that's probably me, it may not be. Usually the souls that are there above in the crown, they've done a lot of service for humanity. And they're just not sitting at home watching TV or podcast or doing not much at all. They've done a great service, whether it's wisdom, awakening of humanity. They could be a powerful healer, or maybe they did a lot of good work that helped remove the suffering of humanity. So, you can think more along the lines of the great saints and Buddhas of the past or present, that they would sit, those souls might sit above their head, and it's a long, long journey. And so those souls that can sit up here, they have abilities to bring soul healing, soul wisdom, soul teaching, soul love, forgiveness, compassion on a much, much higher level than a normal human being.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question from Diana. Welcome, Diana. She says, Dear David, being on the soul journey, we know there are challenges. Would you say there is something called the dark night of the soul? Yes, what's the reason and the purpose for such an experience?
Thank you, Diana. The dark night of the soul, depending upon which group you study that with, obviously it's about going through a process where you could feel attacked. Some people feel attacked by the darkness. Some people feel lost. Some people feel like they're disconnected from the light. There's different experiences, right? We can't say, like with anything in life, it's just one experience and that's it, right? It's like saying, well, love is this way, right? So depending upon how you look upon it, you can give an answer. What I would share is this. I honor all belief systems. I honor all religions. We are creators and manifestors, and we're creating in every second our thoughts, through our thoughts, our speech, and actions. If we're in the love, care, compassion, we're creating positive. If we're in the anger, fear, worry, we're creating negative. So we ourselves can switch between light and dark. Now, we accumulate and become entangled with this positivity or negativity over all our lifetimes. And that positive information or negative information is going to release through us. So for some people, they may or may not fully understand how it all works. They may not believe this. But a lot of the darkness we experience is from our own creation in many past lives, where we have to deal with the negativity and the consequences, where we got to clean up our soul, heart, mind, and body. Now, if you are a real true servant of humanity, it could be a little different. But for most humans, they're dealing with their own negative information, the lessons they need to learn from them. And that itself can cause a feeling of not having joy, not having passion, feeling disconnected, feeling attacked, feeling like you're hit by like lots of dark forces. And people need to realize that a little more. Now, if you're really like high level saint or Buddha or chosen servant, you may also deal with humanity's issues. Because you're bringing such a light to Mother Earth, you're bringing such an awakening. Humanity's negativity may come at a person like that because they don't like it. They don't want humanity to elevate per se, to experience more love, light, freedom, joy, move on their enlightenment journey. So when you're truly a true servant that has true abilities to help humanity, you may deal with some other people's stuff as well. But that's not necessarily the case for most human beings. And people may say, well, how do I get out of it? That's maybe another good question. How do you get out of it? One, you got to pray. Two, you got to use your logical head. You got to go through it. And you got to say, okay, I know the teachings are this. And even though when I do forgiveness practice, I don't feel forgiven. I don't even feel like forgiving. I'm just angry inside. You just got to put that out, go forward. You got to chant. You got to pray whatever you believe. Like we traced out calligraphy, and you've seen that with Henderson in previous shows I've heard. But you've got to go through it and use your logical head to say, this is not real or true for my journey. I'm not going this way. I am going to go with the light. And you've got to go through challenges and struggles to recalibrate, to rebalance, to release those blockages, and to go through that period in your life. And stay away from overanalyzing it, overthinking it, and just go into the light. It's like you see that path, you're on it, and you just go forward.
I love that, David. I think in the Buddhist teachings, we share similar things as well. That everything is all, it's not out there. Evil is not out there, it's in here. So this is where we really have to go deeper into the teachings. Like you mentioned, all the your guidance with the practices that leads us back into the light to purify us, to cleanse us, and then your mindset will shift as well. So that was really, really useful for a lot of people. And I've posted the link of the Master Sha London Center. If you want to begin or are curious about different techniques, different practices you could do to assist you, maybe not even on the soul journey yet, but just to be happy and healthy, some practical things you could use in your everyday life to overcome stress or anger, upset, anxiety. And most of the classes are online, and there's one class that is free every Wednesday at 7 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. It's called Tao Healing Technology, to harness your inner power that we all need, to strengthen ourselves so that we can do our job and be happy and healthy with our family, our friends, loved ones. And when you feel good within, you'll be more wanting to take your practice to the next level. So you got to take some baby steps, and just at the beginning, maybe to have an open mind, an open heart, to introduce some more practical things that you can use straight away. And it's not complicated or rocket science, anybody can do this. So I encourage you to look at the London Master Sha website that I've posted on the link, or mastershathaocenter.co.uk, and you will find David there amongst other master teachers. They do many, many things: Tao calligraphy, love, peace, and harmony, and different courses, Tao hands healing. It's amazing. I mean, I love it. All the healing wisdom that I've been receiving the last 3 years, I'm really, really grateful. And I integrate all the what I've got learned into my own practice, and it works really, really well. So any last words, David, before we close?
Well, thank you for having me on the show. And to everyone watching, really invest in your own self. There's so much happening in life, and you can easily get lost in the distractions and so many things that are happening. But value your soul, value your heart, value your mind, value your body, value your thoughts, your speech, and actions, and do meditation, do chanting, serve others. If you're just getting started, you know, you learned a practice in here, very powerful actually. And you can join us at the Master Sha Dao Center if you wish. We're here to serve you, but really carve out and invest in yourself so you can become who you were called, who you were created, and who you are meant to be.
Thank you so much, David. That is so important, the self-care. Without self-care, you cannot care for another, really. You have to, it starts from you. So I encourage you, as David said, please take care of yourself, stay healthy, be happy, and don't worry. And next week, we have another very special guest coming on Tuesday at 4 p.m. GMT time. It's David, another David. It's the month of David. It's David Melser, and he's going to be joining us live as well. So thank you, David Lusch. It's been an honor to have you sharing your wisdom. And I hope everyone watching the replay, if you have any questions or feedback, please send them to me, and I will direct them to David, or you can find David at the Master Sha London Dao Center. So have a very blessed day, and I will see you for meditation. Actually, you can join me for meditation Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. on the same site. It's half an hour, it's free, and just following on what David mentioned about meditation. So no more excuses. You can join me every morning, 7 a.m. Thank you all. Love you all. And thank you, David.